If you're running Google ads for your auto shop and not getting leads, here's why. I've looked at a lot of auto shop Google ad accounts, and in reality, most of them have the same problems. And what I found is these same issues are really the ones that keep you from getting lead flow, keep you from getting calls, quote requests, appointments, and increasing your car count. I basically narrowed this down, and what I do is I call these the main reasons. And these are the biggest reasons where I see Google ads not working for auto shops. It could also be for other shops or other businesses as well. And so I've narrowed them down to my top 5 problems. Here we go. Number 1, the first reason for not getting leads on Google ads would be wrong targeting. And this could be a location issue. You can have really different settings for targeting in Google, but specifically for auto shops, what I want to talk about is your location settings. Now, you would think that people would have settings set up correctly. This is really an issue that I see in Facebook ads and Google ads, but in particular Google ads. What you really want to think about it is how far away will someone come to your shop? So, if it's just a 5-mile radius, if it's a 3-mile radius, maybe it's a county or an entire city. It really depends on your particular brand, your particular location and shop, whether it's a body shop, auto repair shop, detailing, PDR. Even if it's mobile could be different as well. So think about how far you will travel or how far your customers will travel to see you. Now, if it's a smaller rural area, you may have to open up that targeting to the county. Here's another trick that I want to mention is you can actually exclude locations from your targeting as well. What I mean by that is there's settings in Google ads where you can actually exclude a country, you can exclude a region, and this is very helpful to make sure that by some chance, someone didn't just happen to visit your location and the next day they're in another state, another country, and Google's algorithm for whatever reason happens to show your ad to that person in another area. So you can exclude things. I would recommend excluding surrounding states, maybe even surrounding countries. Let's say you're in Texas and you're close to Mexico. You don't really want to be showing it to Mexico. Same thing with on the northern US border. If you're near Canada, there's a chance it could overlap. So just go ahead and exclude Canada, exclude the surrounding states, unless you're close by a state where you will actually service that customer. So think about that. Then go ahead and exclude areas in your local area where you're not going to go to. Exclude local counties or local cities where there's no chance that someone's going to come to you. Just keep that in mind. Okay, that is number 1. First one was location settings, wrong targeting. Okay, the next issue that I see in Google ads for auto shops would be conversions are not set up correctly. Now, what I mean by that is conversions, what we're talking about is one thing would be you want to actually have your optimization set typically to conversions. We prefer maximize conversions. There's some other things you can do, but that will allow Google to show people your ads who are most likely to convert into whatever you want. Now, for auto shops, most shops, what we want is phone calls or quote requests. And by quote request, what I mean is someone who goes to your landing page, fills out the form, submits it. When they go to your thank you page, that should trigger an event, and that event is a conversion. So this could also happen with a lead form submission as well. But you got to be careful that it doesn't simply convert by a page view or it doesn't convert by people visiting your store. Those are conversion options, but we see a lot of errors when that happens. So you really want to limit your conversions, not to everything that Google tells you to do. In fact, that could be another error. Okay, so the next one is number 3. The number 3 reason, and this could actually be maybe the number 1, but is not using a landing page. Too many times I see when someone clicks on your ad, let's say they need a quote. It says get a free quote for auto body, auto repair, paintless dent repair, detailing, whatever it is. If they want to get a quote and fill out the form and request a quote for your service, they don't need to go and see 20 different options on your website or wherever it is they're going to go. So you do need a website. You absolutely need a website. You can plug that in to Google Ads for other things like site links and all that, which you do need. However, when you send a lead to or prospect to your website straight from Google Ads, you're giving them too many options. Okay. You got to keep in mind that your customer, your potential customer, is has a very short time span, very short attention span, and you want them to focus on exactly what they want, exactly what you want is for them to either call you or submit their information for a quote. So only do landing pages. If you have a link, it should go to the landing page only, and there should be no navigation at the top. The only thing on there should be very short, easy to fill out form, and submit the form. That's it. Okay, number 4. The number 4 reason for Google Ads having issues would be the budget does not match your goal. So when we talk about budget, obviously you can set your budget to, $1 to millions of dollars a day, which most shops are never going to do that. But let's just say it's anywhere from, could be $1 to a couple $100 a day. If you understand that it takes clicks to get leads, okay, not every click turns into a lead. So for most of what we recommend, I recommend you start at least around, $15, $20 or more. Most of the time, at least $20, $25. You can go a little bit lower, but you got to understand how much it costs to get a lead. So for most shops across the country, clicks cost per click, auto repair, auto body, etc. Most things in auto repair services, clicks can cost about $3. And you can find this out in the Google Keyword Planner. We can look up your area, see how much clicks cost. There'll be a range, there'll be a low range and a high range. The low range is typically around $1. High range can be, 8, 10, 12, 15, or even more, depending on where you're at. That will typically be for things like transmission repair or some collision repair and then some hail repair. Most of the things will be in that low range, but if you have a good Google ad, the clicks will cost around $2, $3, $4, $5 per click. So if it takes 4 or 5 clicks or even 10 clicks to get a lead, then it might cost, $20, $25 for a lead. If that's the case, that is why the minimum you should be running Google ads with are around $20, $25 to ensure that you can actually get a lead per day. So if your budget is way too low, is much lower than that, then it may simply not work. If you want more leads per day, then you need to think about 30, 35, 40, $50 a day, or even more. And we have a calculator at autoshopmarketingpros.com. You can click on there and check out our free calculator. You can try it out for yourself and see how many leads you need to get the calls that you want. Okay, and number 5, the last one is a no follow-up or slow response. And so a lot of times what happens is people will call you. First off, if people call you and you don't answer the phone, then you can't really blame Google for that. So I've heard too many shops out there, I've actually called them and no one even answers the phone. And the voicemail doesn't even work. So if I'm calling you as an actual person that's trying to help you, well, what if someone else is calling you and they want your services? So, sometimes I've actually had an appointment with a shop and they don't answer their own phone. Okay. It goes to a voicemail and it doesn't even work. So you need to actually be able to answer the phone during the daytime. If you don't have someone, then we actually have an AI voice assistant that can do that for you, but you should have a person answering the phone call for you. The other would be if someone submits submits your estimate request or appointment request, and there's no follow-up. Okay. If someone takes the time to submit that form, then they need a follow-up, and you should really have automated text and email follow-ups immediately, followed by a person calling to verify what they need. Well, guys, if you don't do that, then they're simply going to go down that list of the next shop in line, and you're going to miss out on that potential lead, that potential customer, that potential car count. And then you're going to say, well, Google ads don't work. They send me trash. Well, they send you things what you're asking for, and you have to answer the phone. You have to respond to customers. So that is the top 5. And wait a second, guys, I got an extra bonus here for you. And this bonus would be number 6, but we're going to stick with number 5. The bonus is not enough time or data. So people run Google ads, let's say for a couple days or a week, and say it doesn't work. Well, Google itself actually says it takes 2 weeks sometimes in order to get out of this learning phase. And there's this whole algorithm thing where it, figures out what you want. Well, you're putting in keywords, and then you have to check those keywords, see if it's actually working, if it's actually the keywords that you want. Sometimes your keywords are too broad, too narrow. You're not getting enough data. And in order for Google to really work, they have to follow this simple sequence. Someone clicks on your ad, someone submits your ad, submits a lead form or calls you and sends data back. That's a conversion. So our first thing is, if it's the wrong people submitted it, well, then they're going to send it to the wrong people again. If you don't have conversion set up at all, then Google doesn't even know if it's a conversion. So it can't replicate that data again because it doesn't know what is working for you or not. So it's kind of a sequence. Once it gets that going, it's going to say, oh, that's what you want. I'm going to send you more of that data, more of those same customers and those same leads. Okay, guys. So I hope that helps. And so hopefully you realize that Google ads are not simply the problem. If you're running ads and not getting calls or quote requests, check these 5 or 6 things that I mentioned. I think I mentioned a 7th one, but check those things and see what the issue may be. And if you're not running Google ads in your area, then you got to ask yourself why. Why am I not running them? You got to think about what is the demand signal in your area. For most shops, Google ads would probably be the number 1 spot to start with because it has the highest continual demand across your area. So if you need help with any of that stuff, whether it's Google ads, Facebook ads, CRM, anything in this area, and you want to see how we can help, just click the link below and you can schedule a call with us. We can see how we can help. And oh, by the way, if you like this content, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, take care. God bless. Bye-bye.